welcome to the Art of Happiness. My name is Tam, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Erin Tam.
Hello.
Yay, Erin! Okay, so just jumping right into it and making sure that we actually start off with what our topic is.
Okay, I would love to.
Yes, so have you heard of cozy hobbies?
Not really.
Okay.
Tell me more.
Okay, so
I mean, I can guess what that might be, but tell me what that is.
Yeah, I feel like the title, you feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. But so in our hobbiness, right? We're constantly combing the webs, the socials, to try to learn more about hobbies and understand them. And I'm consistently starting to see influencers putting cozy hobbies in their descriptions. And I don't know if that's just because I'm now in the hobby realm and so I'm just now around that term more, but I just feel like I really do feel that that's a newer term.
Yeah.
So anyway, giving you a definition of what a cozy hobby is. A cozy hobby is anything that brings you warmth, relaxation, nostalgia, or the feeling of slowing down.
Oh, nice.
Which I think you can gather just by
the word
being the
cozy,
word, right? And so in my mind, I immediately was this must be knitting, or embroidery, stuff like that, things that you hear. I feel like it's synonymous with also grandma hobbies that are coming around. Have you heard of grandma hobbies?
Yes, I have heard of that.
Okay, so I feel like those are kind of pooling together. And I was just where did this word come from? Has this always been a word? Has it not been a word? And it does seem like it's a newer word, but not a newer idea. I did some research, and it just seems like every culture, I would say, has some form of this.
Okay.
But I think...
Is this that Heige from, I don't know if that's even how you say it.
Yeah,
from Danish culture?
I saw that too in my research. Yeah.
Because I feel like I've seen that before, pretty often. I don't know if that's more trending.
It just seems like it's the idea of slowing down, right? And it's interesting because I feel, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but when I look at the influencers that are pushing out this cozy hobby idea, it seems to fall in a really high interest for millennial women.
Yeah. Well, I feel like now that you're starting to say this, I noticed, really back with, I feel like from the pandemic, we were kind of forced to be at home, and, people started taking up baking and all these things you could do in the home that didn't really require you to go out. And I wonder if did it kind of start back then?
I do feel like that was a surge there. And I honestly, if I really break down the research that I came into, I almost feel like it started shortly before the pandemic, and I think the pandemic just kicked it into high gear. And here's why I think that, specifically with millennial women, right? We talk all the time about how millennial women, we're just built to be hustlers.
Yeah.
From the moment we got onto this earth, we were being prepped to be the best at everything so that we can get the scholarship, so that we can go to college, so that we can make ourselves this productive person, right? Wasted time was wasted time, right? And hobbies fell in wasted time. We were just hustlers.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like cozy hobbies came as a response to that. Almost us trying to...
we're all approaching midlife crisis time.
Cozy hobbies are midlife crisis.
Well, just taking a step back from trying to reflect on what it really matters in our lives, right? What's important to us. So
but it's like that. It's we're rebelling against this idea of we always have to be productive, right?
Yes.
And this cozy hobby fights that hustle culture. It makes you just stop,
slow down,
and take a beat, right? Which I find interesting because I'm that totally tracks for us, right?
Does.
I feel like that makes sense why millennial women specifically would be really drawn to this cozy hobby idea.
Absolutely.
Because we're tired.
Exhausted.
We're tired. We're so exhausted.
Yes.
And we just want to feel snugly and content and positive, right? But when I was... prior to doing this research, again, I thought the only thing that fell into that cozy hobby arena was knitting and embroidery, things that at the start of this I said were hobbies I would never really want to do, right? They just didn't speak to me.
So what else falls in that category? I mean, you said anything that's relaxing or comforting.
Sure.
So what kind of other things would fall in that?
Well, so one that surprised me that I would not have thought of initially is gaming. Think about the rise of games like Animal Crossing. So like I have several family members that are women that are millennials that are very into Animal Crossing.
Oh, really?
And it's essentially a game.
I actually don't know what Animal Crossing is, so if you tell me,
I would be
tell
happy
me
to tell
and the
you.
listeners, whoever.
Yes. So Animal Crossing is kind of it's similar to Sims. I feel like our generation knows Sims. Yeah. So Animal Crossing is like it's similar to Sims, except for I would say it's just a little bit more. I don't want to say Sims isn't positive, but it's a little bit more taking out the personal lives of things and making things a little bit more like, so you build an island and you invite creatures to come live on your island happily, and you can craft and collect supplies and create this community. Yeah. And it's just very like, it's very chill. It's very positive. There's no real competition. There's no like points really to like be competitive, except for, I mean, I guess a point system would just be like, people just want to come live with you in your little island, you know? And it's just a very positive way to spend time, in a very just relaxing way, right?
Yeah.
So, but like I would not have thought of
I would never have guessed
gaming falling in that realm.
Right.
But it makes sense, you know, like as it falls into that warmth, cozy as you're snuggled up on your couch, you're playing the game, and you're just casually just collecting little friends.
I'll just check that out. Yeah.
But also like sets.
Does cozy stuff, I mean, it pretty much is going to be stuff that you do in your home, like by yourself or with your family.
Yeah,
probably.
It kind of seems, I mean, like, I mean, I feel like you can still do cozy hobbies with people, but it does seem like it's more of like I picture it like if you're going to do it with more people, you're doing it in front of a fireplace or like in front of a bonfire. You're like something that keeps you just feeling warm and welcome and just
positive.
Comforted. Yeah. Like it just seems like a really good environment that I could see millennial women really responding positively to, because I feel like, I mean,
I think there's definitely that big movement, like you mentioned, to just slow down, have slower living, traditional, more going back to just traditional hobbies. Yep.
And it's even just like scents. Like think about like you talked about the pandemic, about how the pandemic. No, but like candles. No, I feel like candles.
I know where you're totally wrong. Anyway, like, continue.
Scentsy?
No, like candles.
Yeah, like candles, or like think about baking. Like if you go to see like an open house, right? Like the smell of cookies instantly makes you just be like, nostalgia, you know, or like it just feels like you're a kid again and you're in the new home. So like I feel like it really could just be really anything. So I just found it really interesting exploring that, because I was like, it just makes sense to me.
Definitely.
That
it's a sign of the time.
that we're in there. But like the other thing that I find that is really interesting that would click for millennial moms is the fact that cozy hobbies seem to be something also that like you can just pick up real quick and then walk away. Like it's not something that is going to be super time consuming. So like if you are doing embroidery during this, you know, you could sit there, do a little time with that, put it down, walk away, go back to taking care of the kids.
It's not like high stress at all.
It's not stress.
Or, high commitment or mental you don't need a ton of mental focus.
Exactly. So like, and even if you're doing the gaming aspect, you can sit down, do a little gaming, and then you can stop. Like it seems like it's not stuff that takes a lot of prep work to really get you going. It's very like quick sessions, I think is another thing. Picking up a book and just reading a book, like that would fall into that realm.
I mean, I think it seems like, it's definitely a great way to help your mental health, to just reset and just focus on something that's very calming.
It is. And I feel like, you talked about how like you felt like it was really tied with the pandemic, which I agree with. But I also think that it also comes back to like technology. Like I feel like we always talk about doom scrolling, right? Yeah. And like I know that we as a generation do love to doom scroll, but I think we're all kind of also getting tired of it, right? But like, what else are we going to fill our time with, right?
We almost have to reset a little bit and focus on find other things that we like to do.
Yeah. And so I feel like those that aren't on the like interested in like the gaming cozy side of it, because again they're just trying to reduce tech and like totally. I feel like cozy hobbies are like a way of kind of retraining your brain to kind of be more you're wanting to do something with your hands, right? Like that. I mean, that's what we're doing essentially when we're scrolling. Like our thumbs are just going, right? But if you jump into like doing like a cozy hobby that's with hands on, it keeps your hands busy, but also keeps you comforted on your own couch, which I think is one of the pleasures of doom scrolling, is you're doing it from the comfort of your couch, part of it, right? Yeah. Like you don't feel like you have to go out and socialize. You get to just kind of stay in your pajamas. I think like looking for a cozy hobby to fill that void is a really great way to transition yourself out of that doom scroll realm and still have those comforts that you kind of enjoy from doom scrolling. So that would be another thing that I think is kind of why millennial women are just drawn to it. Yeah. I personally, like, now that like I know what cozy hobbies are, like, I'm like, this makes sense and why I want a cozy hobby.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a ton. I mean, we're all so isolated now, and we almost have like social anxiety because we've forgotten how to socialize.
Really forgotten.
So it's a low barrier to not have to stress about that piece of it.
You don't. Yeah. And I just feel like, it's a really good way for us to rebel, against that hustle culture without, buying a motorcycle.
Yeah. And get back to just like traditional things
just
in
get
life.
Back to
the simple way of life.
The simple ways of life, which I mean, if you just like think about it, like I said, like you pointed out how like it's not unique to our culture, right? Like it's like many cultures have this, and so it's not like a unique idea.
You told me a term earlier, and I was like, what is that? And you're like, save it for the podcast. Cottage
core. Yeah, like it's
so that was another thing. What is cottage core?
So I think cottage core is kind of like it's synonymous. Like I feel like it's the same idea of like just like going back to a simpler time where things just feel just more nostalgic. Things just feel more comforting, and creating a world where it's not just so fast and getting hit with, technology and getting hit with hustle. Like it's just taking a beat and finding like a happy median of working and, being home and taking care of home without, having too much of both, I think. I think it's a good happy median in my definition of it. So highly recommend you look into cozy hobbies.
I think so. I think we all need some cozy hobbies.
Well, just a cozy hobby for the weekday. If you get done with work and you come home.
You don't have time to do a ton.
You don't have time to do a ton. You just want to do something that just feels comforting and chill.
Yeah.
And isn't on social media.
Yes.
There you go.
I
solved your problem.
I like
there.
it.
Cozy hobby it up.
I like it. I'm going to make a list of those to do.
Love it.
Well, thanks for sharing that with me. I didn't know. I mean, never really heard
I'm telling you, now that I've bursted that glass for you, you're going to see it all over the place. And you're like, oh my God, cozy hobbies are everywhere. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's all us. Yeah. Like, we're the ones that are like, revival.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So all the millennial women out there, hopefully you... find yourself a cozy hobby.
Embrace that cozy hobby life. I'm for it. I think it sounds great. Let's rebel.
Sounds good.
With a cozy hobby.
In the most mild way possible.
I'm going to embroider this world into a better place.
Oh, gosh. If it only were that simple, right? Well, thanks, Tam.
I got you, girl.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this topic.
Yes.
We'd love to see some, or connect with us on socials and share your cozy hobbies with us.
Please do.
Yeah. All right. We'll catch you later. Listen in next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to The Art of Hobbiness. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review. And for more Erin and Tam fun, be sure to follow us on all socials for behind-the-scenes footage on our journey to find hobbiness.